fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse, I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, a few things have been happening. And we do have Izuku Midoriya. After he made his way home, his mother found him, horrified as to what her baby is becoming, turning into. And she thought it was all a nightmare, until she found something scratched into the back of Midoriya's door, that you would have to close for you to see it. Now, with that being said, it has been a few days, and UA, they are in a little bit of trouble. The press have gotten word, and on campus, as the villains have stealing the plans for the USJ. Now, this false alarm that was set off, heroes took it a bit more seriously, and they actually pushed the USJ back a little bit further than they should have, as they did want to make sure that things were proper on the trip. That if a villain did actually get on campus, they should do a proper security sweep. If the media was able to get here, there's no telling what a villain could. Especially since the front gate was gone completely. Now, with that being said, we do have Izuku, who he's been spending his time free. He's been running around, and has been trying to learn. This becoming his hunting grounds, the city he grew up in, where his dreams died. Izuku Midoriya, the once fun-loving child, now a gruesome predator, a hunter, and feeding. Now, Midoriya has been having glimpses as to what the monster in his blood is doing. It is trying to call for him. It is trying to get Midoriya to find it. If Midoriya is able to find it, he's going to kill it. This thing must be in his head, and he can understand it. That thing is trying to call him back. Midoriya is an imperfect part of it, because he is still here. It can't take him over. Not yet. And Midoriya does know this, as we do currently have somewhere in the middle of the night. Midoriya, his body is covered in what would look to be a red and white suit. Midoriya having spikes protruding all over it, as he's running around, and is jumping throughout the air. As he does actually go jumping up high, he does quickly throw out one of his left hands, him being able to grab onto the wall and quickly start climbing. As he would climb it, he'd get up there, before he just does start looking around, wondering for 1 minute, as he increases his sense of hearing, before also looking around in the middle of the night. Luckily, he was able to obtain the DNA of an animal, allowing him to see at night. Now, Midoriya is just wondering. Okay, as he actually would squat down, looking around the city more. His worst case scenario and his best case scenario. Him quickly trying to brush through his best case. Best case. They think he's dead. And it continues to be that way. Midoriya is able to get away and try to at least live somewhat of a normal life. However, that'd be hard. So, let's go over to worse. Worst case scenario. They believe that Midoriya is alive. Since there was only one person to walk out of that facility, it would be right to assume that they would think that it was him to do so. Let's see. Along with that, the fact that this place isn't already a fireball or a pit a mile wide is good. It means that without solid confirmation that I'm alive, they can't just straight up annihilate an entire city. Most likely they could, but the cover-up of it would not be easy. Then again, At the same time, the town's right by the ocean, so it wouldn't be hard to just say a tsunami wiped us out. Let's see. Another thing. As long as I'm me, or as long as I stay one being, I should be okay. Now, that is what Midoriya does think. As long as they have no solid confirmation that other things exist, then that means that Midoriya can stay under the radar. And where he's at currently won't be quarantined or put under lockdowns. So, let's see. Where can I go that would help me? Doctors. Hard pass. Let's see. Anywhere else? Midoriya thinking, as he's wondering about it all. Midoriya crouching down a bit more as claws do come out of his hands. The way that Midoriya is sitting, it's reminiscent of a cat. I wonder. As Midoriya does actually begin to spread a tail. And that tail quickly covers itself in armor and has become bladed. Midoriya actually taking notice to the area behind him. Before he actually does do something creepy. All for one watching as Midoriya does completely rotate his head around, asking exactly who is he. My, that is horrifying. You are quite the specimen to look at. Midoriya turning the rest of his body around before standing up. And what are you? Oh, me. It's quite simple. My name is All for One, and I have a proposition for you. Hard pass. Are you sure you would like to skip on the Suzuku Midoriya? Midoriya looking at him, wondering for a minute. Who's Suzuku Midoriya? Do not play dumb with me, child. I'm quite aware that it is you. I have been trying to find you and track you for a long time. And the very moment that you pop up, you're changed. Changed. If you've been keeping track of me, then you know what I've been through. Oh no, you would misunderstand. I'm able to keep eyes on you everywhere, except for the last couple months. So, wherever you've been has been outside of my reach. And that's been quite difficult to understand for me. Okay, so what of it? Well now, calm down a bit. I'm not your enemy here. Midoriya sprouting claws out of his hands, as the bone actually has begun to shift upwards out towards Midoriya's wrist. As Midoriya's tail also has begun to at least get a bit more serrated. And he does tell All for One that he just needs to stay away from him. Your quirk is interesting. I would like to understand the experiments they did on you. Sure, but you won't believe me. This little baby here isn't a quirk. Hm. Child, I believe that you are mistaken. No, I believe that you're mistaken, old man. This isn't a quirk. Hmm? Exactly what do you mean? Ah. Whatever experiment they did on me, they turned me into a freak. They put something in my blood. And whatever it is, it's not from this planet. Hmm? Child, are you sure you are alright there mentally? Mentally? Sure. Midoriya actually is doing one thing, as he holds out both of his hands, often watching as both of them immediately fall off the bone and hit the floor, before quickly scurrying away. And all for one just looks down at that. Well, he just lost his lunch, and he will not be eating for a couple days. Whatever that was, he is thanking God that he does not have eyesight. At least the traditional way. That was still horrifying to look at. Now, with that being said, Midoriya quickly does at least throw up his hands, and they begin to get replaced. Empty flesh filling in the spot that is open or vacant. And Midoriya just does at least bring up his hand and close it back into a fist. Now, All for One is still confused, asking exactly what would that be then. Now, Midoriya just tells him that he can't explain it, and he won't. Quickly brushing it off, asking exactly what is his proposition. Well now, the doctor I know. Midoriya is telling him to stop right there. No doctors. No doctors? I've been a science experiment for the last 6 months of my life. I'm not dealing with it anymore. I understand, young man. Fine. No doctors. We'll do this on your terms. My terms? A cure for my condition. Whatever is in my blood, I want it taken out. I want it ripped out of me. Even if it means I die. I don't want to be this anymore. I just want to go back to being that quirkless kid who carried a notebook and was scared. That's it. I'm sorry, young man. If there is a cure for your condition, it is far beyond anything I have seen. In fact, this is the first in all of my 200 years. Very surprised. 2 centuries? Yes, 2 centuries. And in fact, I want to study this more. Midoriya's tail raising up over his shoulder, all for one saying that they can do that later. However, if Midoriya truly does want to find a cure for his condition, he's going to have to deal with some doctors. And he knows the best place, completely outside of jurisdiction of Japan. And actually, technically it's its own floating city. Midoriya tilting his head confused. Exactly where would you be referring to? The place I am referring to is known as Island. Midoriya cutting him off. Island, the most advanced place in the world of quirk researches, tech, and technology. Yes, you're quick on the uptake. Alrighty then. If it's Island I need to go to, then I'll go there. However, young man, in exchange for this information, I do ask a simple favor. A favor? Yes. I'm going to be trying to find out what they did to you. Sure. And in return, what do I have to do for you? Well, think of it as a favor. And I do want to find out more about this phenomenon. If this is truly beyond our understanding, outside of Earth's jurisdiction, I want to know what's going on inside that body of yours. You're not the only one. Off one telling him that the direct coordinates for Island. Before he does actually say, but Midoriya cutting him off. Him turning around and walking to the edge of the building. Before just falling forwards without doing a single thing. Now, we actually do have Karagiri and Shigaraki, who were watching close by. As we have Midoriya, as he is falling, he quickly does think about more. As the skin around his body does begin to reform, and he's able to pick up air, quickly making wings on his back, and just beginning to fly, as he's trying to adjust himself. Island is exactly him heading towards the ocean, as he does continue to fly, wondering, okay, it should be this way. So, let's hope that whenever I get there, things will at least be simple. Now, with that being said, Izuku Midoriya, he does begin to fly, and this would take a bit of time. Midoriya, he just goes in that direction, not too sure of what else to really do. As whenever he does eventually get tired, he does land in the ocean, and his wings do actually fold into his back, before going underneath his skin. Now, as it does actually happen, Midoriya would form gills on his body, and he would then just lay in the water for a minute, going to regain his stamina. Now, as Midoriya is laying there, he does actually just think for a second. Let's see. I've made it this far. Not too bad of an idea. Find an island out here. Get away from everything. If I'm able to do that, then most likely I could live free. However, Midoriya at least grabbing away at his face, as his vision does begin to change, and he can feel it. Once again, there it is. The thing in his head. As Midoriya's vision quickly does come back to where he is, lying in the middle of the ocean somewhere. As he does get a bit more angry. He can't live that life yet. He can't get away. So, he has to get to Island, and then he needs to assemble something. A crew, possibly. He doesn't understand. This urge that he's getting to get away from everything, to fly free. He feels like he just needs a little bit of space. He can't really put a good finger on it. Yeah, I'm out of puns. I don't know what you're expecting. Now, with that being said, Midoriya does eventually get to Island after a few days of flying and resting. Now, whenever he does actually get to the island, he does find it just floating in the middle of the ocean. And this is what he does do. As he would swim up to the island, he does actually go to the side, as he would begin scaling the wall, and his body temperature would not be able to be registered by any heating instruments, as he's been able to balance it out, lowering it to the point where he doesn't really even need it. Plus, you can't pick up his heartbeat either, So, he's basically just a moving ball of flesh, you could call it, really. Now, with that being said, Midoriya does get onto the island, and there is whenever he actually does encounter one of the security guards. Midoriya actually keen to find out what does happen, as Midoriya would actually stick his hand directly into this man's throat and grab him by it, as his hand does actually mean to go underneath the surface. The man trying to scream out, but Midoriya just grabs him by the windpipe and crushes it, informing the man that he's being too loud. The man barely even being able to make a sound before he would quickly pass. However, his body does simply just reanimate, you can call it, really. It seems like he just fell over and he's fine now. He got back up and started walking again. Except this time he seemed to listen to Midoriya. And well, Midoriya did like that. So, within security he has somebody. That will make this a whole lot easier. Now, as Midoriya is thinking that, the man who Midoriya took over does actually head around, as he would in fact the head of security or the senior officer who is in command. As soon as his task is done, he would leave. And the newly infected man, well, he would begin to undergo the same things that this man was feeling, a hostile takeover of his body's natural system. And Midoriya, he would actually be able to control the man, being able to maneuver his way around security because he is now security. As eventually he does find a place or a lab where he has walked into. Midoriya has returned his body mostly to the way it was. Aside from a few mutated features, you would barely be able to tell that he is a monster. His hands do at least somewhat retain the armor-like appearance. And so does his face. Now, Midoriya is actually walk into this building, or shop, and look around, as he's wearing a outfit that does say security. Since the man completed his task, he was no longer of use. So Midoriya decided to just simply add him to his biomass. And that should sustain him for a few more days, if not weeks. Let's see. Now, Midoriya is walking around, and eventually, he does come upon a private lab. As he's looking at it, wondering what it is. He tries to open it, and it does not budge. He tries to pull the door open. Wow, it's pretty surprising. A strong lock. Now, he does actually just bring up one of his fingers and jam it into the keyhole, as he just begins to try and liquefy his flesh, and before re-soliding it, as he would just turn his finger with a strange popping sound, before he's able to just simply pull it out. Now, with that, the door does actually open, and Midoriya does walk in. As he does see somebody facing away from him with operating some machines. Midoriya simply just locking the door, as loud music is playing. Now, he does actually just walk up, and stand there for a second. The person here, well, she's distracted. And she is thinking, as she would make the finishing touches on her, tool, or her support item. Now, she is really proud of herself, talking about how this might actually be able to help some pros. Before she actually does catch something in the corner of her eye, her turning and spinning, quite surprised, as She just says that the door was locked, before trying to at least wait for a response, walking over and turning off the loud music. Her trying to say that again, that the door was locked, and who is he? He does not seem like a security guard on the island that she has ever seen. Midoriya just saying that he needs her help. You need my help? With what? Your face. I recognize it. I need your help. Okay, but who are you? My name is Izuku Midoriya. And last year, I had an experiment performed on me. They took my body. I was quirkless. And they did something to it. A way to give me a quirk. They said the experiment failed, but it didn't. And now I'm Roy at least holding up his hand, and showing off the slight appearance change. Talking about how he's a monster. Wow. Wait, you're that Izuku Midoriya? I think I have notes written down about you somewhere. Her actually running around, and trying to find the proper notebook. She's had an idea about this before, but she tossed it to the wind because she didn't think that it was biologically possible. However, right here in front of her is proof that it is possible. Now, with that being said, the girl would sit Midori down and ask him to describe what they did to him, as she would then introduce herself as Melissa Shield. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.